everyone. So today I did a summer tutorial that's a little more dramatic because I used Vanity Pixie Epoxy, which gives like a foiled wet look. And I thought this would be perfect because it's flattering for all eye colors. And I'm gonna go ahead and cut right to the tutorial, and then at the end of the video I will talk about products and kind of what I use and show you guys everything a little more in depth. But here's the tutorial. I hope you enjoy. I'll see you in a little bit. Okay, I'm going to start with putting primer all over the lid, and I'm using Urban Decay's, the original primer, the purple one. Then I'm going to use the Vanity palette from Wet n Wild, and I'm going to use the matte cream color on this side, and then just put that all over the primer so it makes it easier to blend over it, all the way up to the brow. Then I'm going to work with the medium brown and the dark brown in the Vanity palette, and I'm going to mix them both to kind of create the shape that I want. So I'm dipping into the medium one and the dark one to darken it up. If you're fair, you would be able to use just the medium one. Because my skin is pretty dark, I'm mixing it with the darker one to make it a little bit darker. So once I'm done doing that, this shape needs to be a little more ambiguous, and all I'm doing is just kind of brushing it all over. And then I'm going to go in with the dark brown, and I'm going to use the dark brown to create a more definite shape than what I've done right here. So same brown out of that Vanity palette, the darker one, and now I'm going to be a little more precise with my shape. So the hard part for me is done. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take Pixie Epoxy, Vanity's Pixie Epoxy, and I'm going to use my finger to apply it all over. I'm just going to like dab it on my finger. You need the tiniest amount. And I'm going to apply it over the cream part, like on the ball of my eye. Doesn't have to go all the way into the corner of the eye, and then over the brown shading that we did. Give it a minute to get a little bit tacky, and then I'm going to layer the gold pigment and the bronze pigment on top. You guys can use whatever you guys have on hand. Just to note, matte shadows don't generally work very well with the Pixie Epoxy. Like, Pixie Epoxy is actually intended for glittery, shimmery eyeshadows and or pigments. I'm going to use a filbert brush from Michaels. Sorry, making a lot of noise. And this is what it looks like. It's just a small brush so that I can work and I can do some detailed work. This was probably like $2 or $3 at Michaels. And I'm going to start with the gold pigment. This is like a reddish gold pigment, so closer to copper. And I'm going to just, it's like coloring by number. So wherever I have that pale eyeshadow is where I'm going to put this copper shadow, and then, or pigment rather, and then where I have the dark brown, I'm going to put the brown pigment. So I just dip it into the pigment, work it into the cap, so it gets worked into the brush, and then I'm going to like swipe pat the color where I want it. Work it into the inner corner. Even though we didn't put any Pixie Epoxy there, what that's going to do is going to make it look lighter in the inner corner. It's not going to look as foiled as the rest of the lid, and that's fine. Now, done with that color, so I'm going to clean my brush on a towel, and then I'm going to use the brown pigment and put that over where I have the brown eyeshadow. So same brush, working it into the cap. I'm gonna apply the bronze over the gold to transition the gold into the bronze. So I'm gonna finish up the look by working with this e.l.f. brush, this flathead e.l.f. brush, and working back into that brown that I used to create the contour color originally. And I'm just gonna use it to kind of define the outside crease. And then of course take a blending brush and take that medium brown, that one, and diffuse the edges into, really? Diffuse the edges into the brow, or the brow bone rather. And then we're done. Now we're ready for eyeliner. While that liquid liner is drying, I'm just going to go ahead and do the bottom lash line, which I'm using Victoria's Secret Dark Chocolate Liner. Okay, and now I'm using the same technique that I did in my everyday eye makeup. I'm just using this dark brown eyeshadow once again instead of black to diffuse the liquid liner that I have. And this will just, instead of using black, we're using brown just to keep the look warm and summery. And then I'm going to finish up with Maybelline Master Drama Liner. And then I'm just cleaning anything up with a really fine tip liquid liner. This is my new favorite, it's Master Precise Eye Studio by Maybelline in black. And I do the inner corners with this. And then I'm going to curl my lashes and apply mascara, and then I'm done. And I'm all done. It's as simple as that. Thanks for watching. Okay, so to talk about the products a little more, the star product here is Very Nice Pixie Epoxy, which I've talked about before, and it is a must-have product if you have like shimmery pigments, shimmery eyeshadows, any eyeshadows that are not matte, that have a lot of fallout. A couple of things to keep in mind, and you can read this all on the Vanity website, is that you need the smallest amount of the Pixie Epoxy. Like, you definitely don't want to overdo it or it's gonna crease. You definitely should use your usual primer underneath the Pixie Epoxy because it's not a primer. It doesn't generally work well with matte colors, and it's better applied like when you apply product over it with a brush. So you can apply the Pixie Epoxy with your finger, but when you put product over it, whatever pigment or shimmer eyeshadow that you're using over it, make sure to use a brush. And you guys like saw me, you know, using a brush and stuff when, and you know I'm a fan of using my fingers and I do as much as I can, but definitely use a brush when you're applying stuff over the Pixie Epoxy. What else? Everything else I tried to mention before I used it in the video, so it was easy for you guys to follow. But here I have my box. You know, the Wet n Wild Vanity palette, the Australian Amber pigment from Coastal, no, not Coastal Suns. Whew, no, TKB Trading. This gold or the coppery, it's like more coppery and it almost has like pink tones in it that I used is, I never labeled it, so I'm gonna have to go figure out the name, but that's gonna take me like 2 seconds to figure out. All the brushes, everything that I use is gonna be in the description box below. And as always, if you guys have any questions, you can just let me know. But I hope that this was fun for you guys, and I hope that, you know, you try it out and you let me know what you think. Sometimes it can be hard for me, at least in the beginning when I first got pigments, like I didn't know what to do with them. Like, what do you do with them other than apply them all over the eye, you know, or use it as a liner? But it's fairly easy with the right products and the right tools, and just watching stuff that gives you ideas. But anyway, I hope that you guys enjoyed that, and thanks for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye.